Oh, I thought you were talking about Davis. I'm doing this whole. I'm
No,
talking
I'm talking
about
about
Jordan
Carter.
Davis. Yeah, Jalen
Yeah,
Carter
well,
was
obviously, I mean, that's what he's paid for. But I'm talking about.
Jalen Carter was brutal against the run last year.
Well,
Brutal.
that's why I'm at on first down. If you're optimizing to stop the run, does it make sense to have Morrow out there above
No,
Carter?
no. But I mean, the presumption is that it was because of the injuries and the inability to hold his ground because of the shoulders. Um, no, Morrow's not a run defender. Um, Hopefully, he improves. He
Last year, Carter wasn't either. To be fair, now you're right. It could be injuries. It could be some of that stuff, but he
yeah,
wasn't last
but
year. Yeah.
but the difference is that in 2024 and 2023 he was much better. So you've seen, and that's the whole hope. I mean, if he's shot from a health perspective and he's going to be that player, I agree with you. My assumption is he's not going to be that player. He's going to go back to being Jalen Carter. And if he's not, there's damn well not going to pay him $40 million for
John,
the
do you
player.
think you right now are push back on you a little bit? Do you think you are falling into the name trap of Carter? Like you say, you're confident he's going to get back to that.
Well, so to a
Is
certain
that just
degree,
going off of the pedigree of the player? You know,
yes. I mean, and to use our list, and we didn't get to him yet, but he shouldn't be as high on that list if you're just using the definition. So there's part of it. It seeps into everybody,
right? Naturally.
including me. But when you say with those two specific players, like Jalen Carter hasn't always been that bad against the run. He's always been better against the pass. Um, but he's never been that bad against the run. Whereas, you know, the whole thing with Morrow is the same thing, just opposite with Jordan Davis. Can he be a 3-down player? I don't know. For Morrow, it's run support. For Jordan Davis, it's pass rush. Um, they're sort of like the opposite, which is why they fit so well together here, by the way, because you got one who's dominant at run and one who's a dominant interior pass rusher. It's a perfect fit as one player. If you put those two together, you got an all-pro player. You really do. And that's why it's worked so well, but you can't sustain it, unfortunately, because you have to pay Jordan Davis what you paid Jordan Davis, and you have to make the decisions. And they already went through this with Milton, who proved last year he is a 3-down player in New England. Maybe Morrow will do the same. But yeah, I mean, Jalen Carter is on another level from all these names from just a gifts, standpoint. Just, and that's part of the Eagles' concerns as well. Like I think when we talk about skipping steps with Jalix Hunt, I think people skip steps with Jalen Carter as well. And I think, the quote, but remember on Fowler's list, he was still third in the NFL. So these are executives leaning on it because he's so gifted.
Right.
The one guy said he's a problem, a game wrecker. You feel his presence out there consistently. Like that's all intangible, but you do. If you what, like they're scared to death of him. They slide everything at him. And then the other coordinator, I think, really summed him up though as a player. He flashes 10 times a game, but gets dragged too often by average players. He doesn't show the consistency from play to play as the Chris Joneses and the Jeffrey Simmons of the world. And that's the final step for him. Can he do that? I don't know, but I mean, he's a different level of talent than Jordan Davis, never mind Moro Jomo. He's different level of talent than just about, you know, 2 or 3 guys in the world can be in that conversation.
That's fair. That's fair. I just wonder if we're like even a couple minutes ago, John, you spoke as though it's an absolute that when Moro is gone, you know, like is that definitely gonna happen? Like, are we sure it's gonna be Carter? Yeah, that's what I'm just wondering, John, because most of the time when the Eagles have a player like this, they don't wait. They don't, and I feel like with some of the rumors about him being involved in some of the trades, right, from Michael Parsons, and now I get it; those are elite names that they were potentially in the conversations for. Are the Eagles kind of tipping their hand of we're not in the long term Jalen Carter camp like we would be with a player, maybe like Quinyon Mitchell. Well, you don't know on him, but like they have been with players in the past who they've signed early and gotten under contract quick.
Well, it's definitely a tell that the Eagles have questions. I mean, if they don't have any questions, they would have extended him. You're right. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Um, so they have questions, and some of those are obvious: health, consistency. I think the off the field stuff is blown up more than it should be, but
I
nonetheless,
agree, but I do have a feeling Jeffrey Lurie really did not like that week one
spitting
incident.
incident.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I
remember
can't.
the banner dropped in front of the whole NFL world.
Yeah.
And before a snap is played, the Eagles' best defensive player is tossed. I mean, I don't know Jeffrey Lurie. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
think he liked
I
that
mean,
very
it's
much.
not. I think if you're making brash decisions, that's not Jeffrey Lurie. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there again, two things can be correct. I'm sure he didn't like it, but I mean, he's not going to say, "I'm not going to move on with Jalen Carter because he spit at Dak Prescott." I mean,
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
you know, I think it's overblown. And now Baker Mayfield quarterback's out on Netflix for those who don't know. And there's a funny little thing about Baker trash talking. He's a big trash talker. And one of the clips is when the Eagles were playing him, and he saw Jalen Carter, and he said, "You still got a spitting problem," and he's trying to get under his skin. So that's that's stuff he has to deal with, and that the larger frame of immaturity, I think, might be a conversation, and that's part of it. But I think people way overblow that specific incident when it's long-term decision making.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But it's not. Remember, it's not a standalone moment for Carter, which I try not to harp too much on the college thing
Well,
because
I'm always, with the exception of Jalen Hurts, who truly seems to be uh, really, really mature for a young person. And I'm talking like it was 22, 23.
yeah, he was absolutely.
I mean, most football players are immature. Yeah, Joe Flacco's on quarterback this year. Joe's whatever, 40 years old. Um, he was talking about he's in camp with Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders, and he's like, "Oh, man, I'm with these kids, and they're 22, whatever, immature idiots, basically." And you got the adult in the room. There's at one point where Joe Flacco, Shador's wearing a visor. And he's like, "You're a fucking quarterback. Why are you wearing a visor?" Because it looks cool. I mean, but anyway, um, most 22, including myself, 22, 23 are immature. I mean, so that's part of it. And you hope that they mature quickly. Some do, some don't. You know, everybody's different.
No doubt. All right, good stuff, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here.